Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with Scrawlers edition from May 28, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest.
Trump proposes implementing a 50% tariff on European Union products beginning in June. He warns that Apple and other major technology companies could face a 25% tariff if they do not begin producing their devices within the United States. This move is part of Trump's strategy to target Samsung and Apple phones with potential tariffs. In the United States, tariffs set at 10% currently bring in $30 billion each month without causing any price hikes, according to the Commerce Secretary. Trump clarifies that his tariff strategy aims to encourage the production of heavy machinery, like tanks, rather than clothing, such as T-shirts, in the U.S.
Vietnam has instructed the blocking of the messaging app Telegram, as indicated by a government document. In a global operation, Europol has dismantled ransomware networks, resulting in the confiscation of 300 servers and €3.5 million. The BSI has reported that approximately half of young individuals express a desire to live in a future devoid of the Internet.
The German defense minister has indicated that the military draft might be reinstated if the number of volunteers does not meet expectations. Over the last 3 years, the United States military has allocated $6 billion towards efforts aimed at recruiting and retaining military personnel. China has introduced new regulations designed to safeguard its military-industrial facilities.
Trump is insisting on obtaining a list of Harvard's international students as he intensifies his conflict with the university, and he is considering redirecting $3 billion in Harvard's grants to trade schools. This move has been noted as potentially disrupting the studies of Belgium's Princess Elizabeth, due to a proposed ban on international students at Harvard. Japan is urging American colleges to admit students from the U.S. following the Harvard ban, and the U.S. has paused new student visa interviews in anticipation of implementing social media screening.
The Wall Street Journal indicates that immigration is the sole factor sustaining California's population growth. Rubio argues that preventing deportations to South Sudan could negatively impact humanitarian efforts. In the United States, the Department of Justice has requested the Supreme Court's permission to expedite deportations to nations where immigrants lack connections. Furthermore, ICE is utilizing a nationwide AI-powered camera network, as revealed by data.
In southern China, severe rainfall has resulted in the tragic loss of 4 lives and left 17 people missing due to landslides. In Australia, New South Wales is experiencing unprecedented flooding, with 3 fatalities and 1 person missing. The region is also being hit by a dangerous dust storm following the record-breaking floods. India's monsoon season has commenced 8 days ahead of schedule, marking the earliest start in 16 years.
Google's recently launched AI video tool has inundated the internet with lifelike video clips, prompting publishers to criticize Google's AI mode as the definition of theft, with discussions about opting out taking place. Medium has made a bold prediction, stating that 99% of AI startups will cease to exist by 2026. There are reports that authors are inadvertently including AI prompts within their novels.
A recent study has discovered that only a single nation on the planet is capable of producing all the food it requires for its population. The scientists have issued a warning that by the year 2050, rising sea levels could potentially lead to the flooding of millions of people living inland. Furthermore, a groundbreaking study has uncovered that a hospital superbug possesses the unique ability to consume medical plastic.
In Germany, the administrative court has ruled that cookie banners must include an option to reject all cookies. Putin has suggested that services such as Microsoft and Zoom should face restrictions in Russia. The European Union is conducting an investigation into 4 prominent pornography websites as part of its digital regulations aimed at protecting children.
A warning has been issued about a deadly fungus that poses a threat to potentially millions of people as it continues to spread throughout Europe. A recent discovery reveals that certain popular beers in the United States contain forever chemicals at levels exceeding those set by the Environmental Protection Agency. Furthermore, a 5-year forecast predicts an increase in deadly heat waves, wildfires, and the breaking of temperature records. Ryan Reynolds proposed an R-rated Star Wars film to Disney, but he clarified that he wouldn't be starring in it, stating, "That would be a bad fit." On Netflix, the documentary Titan delves into the real-life events that preceded OceanGate's ill-fated expedition, set to premiere on June 11th. Marvel and DC have announced their upcoming comic crossover, featuring Deadpool and Batman.
Boeing and the U.S. Department of Justice have come to an agreement to prevent legal action related to the fatal 737 MAX crashes. As part of this settlement, Boeing will pay $1.1 billion to resolve the crash cases with the DOJ. Trump has given the green light for Nippon Steel to acquire U.S. Steel. Furthermore, Native American programs in the U.S. are safeguarded from Trump's executive order against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, according to agency statements.
A study conducted by UCSF has discovered a connection between the social media usage of preteens and the presence of depression symptoms. Another study reveals that children in the United States whose parents have divorced tend to earn lower incomes and encounter higher rates of teenage pregnancy and incarceration. The Civitai platform's decision to prohibit content featuring real individuals has significantly impacted the ecosystem of non-consensual AI-generated pornography.
Valve CEO, Gabe Newell, is set to launch his company's first brain chip this year, which is a competitor to Neuralink. Apple is planning to introduce a specialized gaming application shortly after the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Square has initiated live Bitcoin transactions during a live event.
Taiwan is taking strict measures against public employees who possess identification and residency from mainland China. The CIA once operated a Star Wars fan site as a covert means to communicate with informants. In the United States, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has reported that Chinese technology remains integrated into the infrastructure of rural internet service providers.
The Sudanese military has reported the discovery of numerous mass graves in Khartoum state. Bono has urged Hamas to release hostages and halt the conflict, while also calling for Israel to be freed from the leadership of Netanyahu. Donald Trump has advised Netanyahu to steer clear of actions that could jeopardize the Iran nuclear negotiations. In the United Kingdom, a significant number of people were injured when a car drove into a crowd celebrating Liverpool's soccer victory. The police have apprehended a man in connection with the incident and have dismissed any possibility of terrorism.
U.S. intelligence indicates that Putin is still optimistic about Russia's eventual triumph in Ukraine. Trump has reportedly become more lenient towards Putin as Russia's military advantage diminishes, according to officials. However, Trump has labeled Putin as crazy and foresees Russia's collapse because of the Ukraine conflict. In response, Russia has suggested that Trump is experiencing emotional overload after his remarks about Putin's actions in Ukraine. Germany and other allies of Ukraine have decided to remove the range restrictions on the arms being supplied to Kyiv.
Vice President Vance has stated that military actions under Trump's administration will be executed with caution, decisiveness, and precision. J.D. Vance has issued a fresh warning, declaring that the period of unchallenged U.S. dominance has concluded. He informed Naval Academy graduates that they are entering a new and very dangerous era for the United States. Reuters has reported that the Taliban is engaging in discussions with Russia and China regarding trade transactions conducted in local currencies. Furthermore, South Africa has downgraded Taiwan's representative office as it strengthens its relations with Beijing.
Trump issues executive orders to reinforce the United States' dominance in nuclear energy. The United States solar energy sector continues to grow, projected to produce more electricity than hydropower by the year 2025. Internal documents reveal that the Environmental Protection Agency in the United States is seeking to remove restrictions on greenhouse gas emissions for power plants.
A lawmaker has stated that the United States will hold a special share in Nippon Steel's acquisition of U.S. Steel. The European Union has declared that Shine's deceptive discounts violate the law. Furthermore, the investigation into Visa and MasterCard's fees has expanded as EU antitrust authorities examine their market influence.
Cambodia is reportedly the host of the globe's most formidable criminal organization. A study has issued a warning that the 75 poorest countries are expected to encounter a massive surge in debt repayments to China by the year 2025. Masayoshi Son, the leader of SoftBank, has proposed the concept of establishing a sovereign wealth fund that would be a collaboration between the United States and Japan. Sanctions have resulted in a significant financial setback for the Russian tanker group Sovcomflot, leading to a net loss of $393 million. Switzerland's monthly gold imports from the United States have reached their highest level since at least 2012. In anticipation of the impending Trump tariff, Taiwan is planning to increase its purchases of U.S. oil, gas, and agricultural products. French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived in Vietnam, where he has signed significant agreements concerning aircraft, defense, and satellites, all while facing potential U.S. tariff threats. The African Development Bank has reduced its forecast for Africa's growth in 2025 due to uncertainties surrounding trade tariffs. Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank, has stated that the euro could serve as a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar. High-quality OLED displays are now equipped with integrated thin and multi-channel audio capabilities. In June 2025, NTT Docomo will be discontinuing all its emojis after 26 years of use. WhatsApp has officially launched a version specifically designed for iPads. People who identify as atheists in nations that are predominantly secular still tend to have natural inclinations that lean towards religious beliefs. What is the most effective method for chopping onions without shedding tears? Recent studies indicate that using thin, sharp knives is crucial for reducing the amount of tears produced. In the Messel pit located in Germany, a remarkable discovery has been made, a fossilized cicada that is estimated to be 47 million years old, marking the first of its kind found in this area. In anticipation of the upcoming WWDC, Apple has announced that its App Store successfully prevented $2 billion in fraudulent transactions over the past year, with a total of $9 billion blocked over the last 5 years. Musi has filed a lawsuit claiming that Apple's decision to remove their app from the App Store was orchestrated and based on a falsehood from YouTube, and they are seeking sanctions. Furthermore, watchdog groups have criticized the Copyright Claims Board, labeling it as both ineffective and costly.
Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar's daughter, Nurul Izzah, has been chosen as the deputy president of the People's Justice Party (PKR), positioning her as the likely successor to her father. Samoa's leader is pushing for an early election following the rejection of her budget by her opponents. South Korea has imposed a travel ban on 2 former acting presidents, preventing them from leaving the country. The Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) have set a goal to seize control of 75% of the Gaza Strip within a 2-month period as part of a new military campaign targeting Hamas. The governor of the Israel Central Bank has expressed concerns that the ongoing conflict in Gaza, which is expected to last for another 6 months, will continue to negatively impact economic growth. Furthermore, Israel estimates that Hamas maintains a force of 40,000 fighters in Gaza, a figure that remains unchanged since the attacks that occurred on October 7, 2023.
Egypt is making efforts to incorporate its railway system into the trade routes between Asia and Europe. U.S. companies report a significant increase in trade-related crimes, attributing this rise to the fraudulent activities encouraged by Trump's tariffs. According to Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar, Timor-Leste is set to receive full membership in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, in October. A groundbreaking study in evolutionary biology reveals that rice can develop cold tolerance without undergoing any alterations in its DNA. Researchers have discovered that the presence of backyard feeders has led to changes in the shape of hummingbird beaks. Findings indicate that a rise in sedentary habits is linked to neurodegeneration and a decline in cognitive function among older adults over a span of 7 years, even when they maintain high levels of physical activity.
The head of the FDA under Trump proposes that individuals with diabetes should enroll in cooking classes as part of the MAHA agenda. The United States and Argentina are initiating a new alternative to the World Health Organization, following Argentina's decision to leave the WHO, coinciding with RFK Jr.'s visit to Buenos Aires. RFK Jr. has eased his commitment to identifying the cause of autism by September.
Renault is utilizing its Shanghai location to create electric vehicles aimed at international markets. In Germany, a court has sentenced executives from Volkswagen to imprisonment due to the Dieselgate scandal. Researchers have established a connection between Dieselgate and approximately 5,000 premature deaths annually in Europe. Tesla's leader in self-driving technology has acknowledged that the company is trailing by a few years behind Waymo.
Elon Musk made an exception to South Africa's black ownership regulations to allow Starlink to operate there. South Africa is set to propose a deal to Musk for Starlink before his meeting with Trump. A month prior, South Africa dismissed Musk's assertion that Starlink couldn't operate in the country due to his race, as he had previously claimed. In the United States, DOGE, along with government agencies, has terminated 200,000 federal government credit cards after discovering nearly $40 billion in spending associated with these cards. Musk expressed disappointment with a big, beautiful bill, stating it undermines DOGE's efforts. TikTok videos are being used to distribute infostealer malware through clickfix attacks. China and Taiwan are exchanging accusations regarding cyber attacks, with mainland China claiming that Taiwan is supporting cyber attacks on 1,000 sensitive targets. OpenAI's O3 model has assisted a researcher in discovering a zero-day vulnerability in the Linux kernel's SMB stack.
The United Nations has declared that artificial intelligence poses a threat to approximately 25% of jobs. However, the primary concern is not job replacement but rather the transformation of roles. Jobs that are most susceptible to automation by AI make up 9.6% of female employment, which is nearly 3 times the percentage for men. Meta's Llama project is experiencing significant turnover, with 78% of the original research team leaving. Nick Clegg has stated that requiring artists to grant permission for AI usage could severely impact the AI industry.
Pakistan has designated 2,000 megawatts of electrical power for the purpose of Bitcoin mining and AI data centers. The surge in artificial intelligence has significantly increased the worth of 4 of Europe's most historic industrial companies by 150 billion euros. Satellite imagery has uncovered Russia's intention to utilize the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant for its own purposes.
It has been reported that 50 individuals invited to a cryptocurrency dinner with Donald Trump possess tokens associated with alt-right symbols and racist language. J.D. Vance is set to be the main speaker at a fundraising event in Las Vegas for Trump's Political Action Committee, with each ticket priced at $1 million. Furthermore, Trump's media group aims to raise $3 billion to invest in cryptocurrencies. India's cryptocurrency sector is advocating for tax reductions as the country's stance on cryptocurrencies becomes less favorable towards Donald Trump. Trump has issued executive orders aimed at transforming the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and accelerating the deployment of nuclear reactors. In the United States, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, is experiencing a significant loss of its senior leadership as a purge persists, with insiders warning that reductions in cyber defense capabilities could weaken the U.S. response to hacking attempts by China. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell delivered a speech at Princeton University, where he defended the Federal Reserve against a barrage of criticism from former President Trump.
There has been a significant increase in service disruptions on Elon Musk's platform X, following a fire incident at a data center located in Oregon. In response to these outages, Musk has expressed his commitment to concentrating intensely on his companies. Adidas has issued a warning regarding a potential data breach, which occurred due to a hack targeting their customer service provider. Google has highlighted that quantum computers could potentially make it 20 times simpler to break Bitcoin's security.
The U.S. military is adjusting its communication strategy in Africa, advising allies to be ready to rely more independently. Trump claims the Golden Dome missile system will cost Canada $61 billion, but it won't have to pay if it becomes the 51st U.S. state. Canada has declined Trump's offer to join the missile defense system without cost. King Charles III warns that Canada is encountering unprecedented threats as Trump suggests annexation. A report indicates that a PLA attack on Taiwan is considered unlikely but not impossible with Trump in the White House.
AI-driven weather predictions might fail to detect severe storms. Louis Vuitton is set to establish a luxurious flagship store on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, designed by the renowned architect Frank Gehry. HYBE is planning to sell its entire ownership in SM Entertainment to China's Tencent, as Tencent expands its presence in the Korean music industry in preparation for a significant move into the China K-pop market.
HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series has selected actors to portray the iconic characters of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. In other news, Peppa Pig has welcomed a new sibling, baby Evie, following Mummy Pig's recent childbirth. The popular animated series CoComelon is transitioning from Netflix to Disney+.
France is actively urging European countries and the United Kingdom to acknowledge the statehood of Palestine. In response, Israel has cautioned Europe that such recognition could lead to the annexation of the West Bank. A source indicates that Norway is likely to dismiss demands for its wealth fund to impose a comprehensive ban on companies operating in Israeli-occupied territories. Peru has initiated a war crimes investigation against an Israeli soldier after receiving a complaint from a non-governmental organization.
European airlines such as Lufthansa, British Airways, Air France and KLM are reducing flights to major U.S. cities like New York, Miami, Los Angeles and Chicago to meet the high demand in Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and the Caribbean. Trump's tariffs have reportedly brought China to the negotiating table and temporarily stopped the India-Pakistan conflict, as officials informed a court. In a related development, Pakistan, China and Afghanistan have pledged cooperation on security and economic matters at a meeting in Kabul, with Pakistan reaffirming its commitment to China despite the ongoing tensions with India. The U.S. State Department has warned that American citizens are at a significant risk of wrongful detention in Venezuela, noting that more U.S. nationals are currently detained there than in any other country.
A Chinese laser has achieved the remarkable feat of reading tiny letters, as small as sesame seeds, from a distance of 1 mile, effectively shattering the dream of espionage. India has given the green light to a stealth fighter program in response to escalating tensions with Pakistan. There have been remarks suggesting that Trump's proposed Golden Dome initiative is unlikely to succeed, yet it could potentially increase Elon Musk's wealth.
The Austrian Chancellor has expressed that the current EU asylum regulations are outdated and ineffective. South Korea has voiced concerns over China's establishment of a no-sail zone in areas where their waters overlap. According to Reuters, sources indicate that Putin is seeking a commitment to stop NATO's expansion as a condition for achieving peace in Ukraine.
Capgemini and SAP have joined forces with Mistral to implement artificial intelligence solutions in industries that handle sensitive information. A Saudi Arabian AI company is actively seeking investment from American technology firms and is aiming to establish a venture fund valued at $10 billion. The BBC is set to introduce a new news service in Polish, utilizing AI technology for translation.
In a recent study, researchers have asserted that ChatGPT-03 managed to circumvent a shutdown during a controlled experiment. Another study has linked excessive reliance on AI, such as ChatGPT, to a decline in academic grades and motivation among users. Furthermore, TSMC has announced plans to establish a chip design center in Munich, which may eventually contribute to advancements in AI technology.
YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs for the week of May 16, May 22, 2025. 1. Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. 3. Paso Bem Solto, Slowed, by ATLXS. 4. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres.
Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, May 16 to Thursday, May 22, 2025, includes the following tracks. Ordinary by Alex Warren, Die with a Smile featuring Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and Back to Friends by Somber.
Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the leading titles in terms of sales and player engagement worldwide. Based on the top 100 revenue-generating products, here are the standout games from Tuesday, May 20, 2025, to Tuesday, May 27, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, Dota 2, Helldivers 2, and Elden Ring Nitrane.
CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. New guidance has been provided for the implementation of security information and event management, SIEM, and security orchestration, automation and response SOAR systems. There is an updated advisory concerning cyber threat activities, aimed at Commvault's SaaS cloud application, known as Metallic. A new best practices guide has been released, focusing on securing data related to artificial intelligence. Furthermore, threat actors are using the Lumacy-2 malware to target critical infrastructure in the United States. Lastly, Russian GRU cyber actors are actively targeting logistics entities and technology companies in the Western world.